If you weren't a producer, you'd be a
Photographer? I always draw a blank when people ask that question. A lot of just really wide genres, shoegazy type stuff recently. I always loved 90s drum and bass, like Optical and Johnny L and Dillinger like would produce. That's always been like a big influence on my sound, even though I have dabbled a little bit in that stuff just to take it to whatever style I'm working on. That was a specific scene where you had to get it right, otherwise nobody was going to play your tune. I always go back to that as far as like sonics and inspiration. The most enjoyable is a more recent thing called optometry. That's been something that sort of building a world and then expanding on it with our own kind of solo projects. So that's kind of really fun to think that way. Super great because I've always been inspired by what they've been doing. You know, all of them are, you know, very, very close and very special. And to your point, kind of different. You know, they're not all the same. So, like my longest collaborator, Aaron Levice, we've been working together since '91, and it's kind of how we hang out. The music and the friendship is super important. So I could say that about pretty much all of the collabs. They're all done in person, and that's my group of friends. Yeah, that's something I relied heavily on for the last year and a half, and I didn't really have any solo ideas. Yeah, so that was a bit of a challenge, trying to figure out, like, without trying too hard, what would feel like really natural to try to make something exciting. So I feel like I finally like kind of landed on that. I used to be in a post-rock band. As much as you know my collaborations, I don't know if you know this one, but it's called I'm Not a Gun. So we had 5 albums, and my partner in that, Takeshi, he's really wonderful guitarist. So I would learn a little bit from him because I'm not really a guitarist, but I would play a bit. I was trying to figure out a vibe of where I would take my own thing. I mean, I grew up playing instruments, so I like that idea of like you just play it and you just express yourself and you can write something. But a lot of times, especially now, we have so much overwhelming possibilities that you sit down to work on something and you're just not quite sure. So the idea of just kind of picking up an instrument and just writing with it and then figuring out the sound later, yeah, that's been a fun new process. I've had some luck with a few tunes here and there, you know. People would be really locked into that, being like, oh, that's your sound. But I've never really wanted to like keep repeating a thing. As soon as I felt I had something, I wanted to switch it up. And now I think anything goes, really. I've been trying to train the visual side of my brain, and my partner, March, in optometry is very talented with that. I think most people know about the Mendes couple passing away. So we lost our designers about a year and a bit ago. That was just kind of like a, you know, real moment of like, this is part of what's affected me out of that, is to bring myself back to trying to think visually. It's something that I just thought I never kind of would be good at, but I'm like, you know what, I'm going to figure it out. So that's been really fun, and that goes hand in hand with like building a bigger concept around a new release. Always trying new stuff, I guess, is the point. You know, there's always ways to make it interesting again.